Hey guys, welcome back to my weekly series where I check out another furry visual novel as a little let's try and see what's up with it. This is Promises to Keep, which you can check out via the itch.io link in the description, and as usual, these are free. This one should be safe for work. Your name will be Leo, okay? So that's your default name. We're sorry to inform you that due to severe weather conditions, your upcoming flight has been cancelled. Please log into our app or website to reschedule. Fuck. I had just laid down, fur still wet from the shower, luggage packed and ready to go. I was bracing myself for a short night of sleep, but now it looks like I have no flight to wake up for tomorrow. I stare at the cancellation message, silently willing it to change into something else. It doesn't, of course. I pull myself off of my creaking mattress, reaching blindly for the suitcase I'd placed next to the bed. I unzip it and fish out my pillow and an extra blanket. I wrap it haphazardly around myself and stuff the pillow under my head, not even bothering to make the bed properly. My phone buzzes again. You're gonna go to sleep without your bedding previously? I guess it's the idea of having it packed, but damn. An email from the airline, bringing another reminder of the cancellation. Yep. No escaping it now. I'm not going anywhere. Given all the packing, I'm guessing he's trapped not at home, instead of being trapped at home and having a trip cancelled. I was really looking forward to leaving. We're a snow leopard. After a prolonged minute of staring into nothing, I begrudgingly opened my flight app. The bright colors of the loading screen beam down at me. I roll over onto my side and watch the wind-beaten window, that thin sheet of glass keeping the blizzard at bay. What am I doing? There's literally no point in trying to reschedule now. A snowstorm like this will put the entire city out of commission for a while. I take one last look at my phone. Low battery mode. 3% power. I know the feeling. I flop my arm over the side of the bed once again, pawing around for the charging cable. The phone buzzes lightly as I plug it in, and I flip over to stare once again at the window. Sleep finds me faster than I expect. At least in my dreams, I'm somewhere else. Somewhere else? Didn't you want to live here? Didn't you promise all those years ago to all those people that you'd return? Now that you're here, you can't wait to leave. Face it. You've returned, and you're not really living, but you're not really living here. You're just waiting to die. So it maybe wasn't the return flight of a trip, but a trip to go out, but they don't like being here? I shiver a little. Something feels off. I poke my head out of the tightly wrapped nest of blankets. My bleary eyes take a few moments to adjust to the bright light peeking through the curtains. What time is it? I reach for my phone on the nightstand, sleepily sweeping my paw around my desk till I find it. I groan. I guess it's on the floor now. I begrudgingly roll to the edge of my bed, still somewhat protected by my covers, fishing my phone off the ground. I tap the screen to check the time. Nothing. I could have sworn I plugged it in. I get up, still swaddled in my blankets, and stumble over the window. I open the curtains and... oh my god. I had known the storm was going to be serious, but... standing in my frost-covered window, I'm greeted by huge, looming, mountainous piles of snow. It had been ages since I'd seen anything like this. Adjusting my cocoon of blankets, I reach out a paw and place it gently against the glass, feeling the chill seep into my paw pads. The view through my window was comforting in a way. It reminded me of childhood mornings, the unparalleled excitement of a snow day, and the cozy security of a warm house in cold weather. I shiver again. A warm house. I look down at my still dead phone, then back up at the snow-encrusted window. My brain feels fuzzy and slow, unable to fully comprehend my situation. Wait. I turn and sweep into the living room, my blankets trailing behind me, and walk up to the thermostat on the wall. You've got to be kidding me. I can only see my reflection staring back at me in the temperature control panel, the interface itself blank and devoid of life. Is the power out? Suddenly it strikes me just how cold I am, how cold everything is, from the air brushing my face to the floor beneath my footpads. The power must have gone out at some point during the night, and with it, of course, the heat. For a few long moments, I stand completely still in the center of the living room, attempting to process this turn of events. I trudge over to my fridge and open it out of instinct, but I'm quickly reminded that I cleaned it out last night. Probably for the best. This thing is useless without power. Although if it's this cold, then it's probably... Those are huge! Sorry, I just caught up with the boots. Look at those shoes! Look how wide they are. The giant furry paw pads. Do they only have 3 toes? Or is that just like a facsimile? Well, like it's not just the... It's not just the sole, like the whole... Even the shape of the materials like that. They must have only have 3 toes? How do you put those on? That must be difficult, right? Like, how do you fit through the neck of the shoe to get to the much wider toe part of the shoe? That's wild. Hey, it's a Nintendo Switch. Looks about right. One of Toaster's ongoing gags is always that that furries can't draw Nintendo Switches. They keep showing up in art and they're always like malformed and strange looking. It's quite a choice to have coats and that umbrella just covering the front door. Is the distraction toy for a pet cat or for you? I don't like the idea of drinking coffee with a straw. Anyway, that's the list of things. There's our observations for the day. Those shoes are huge. It just must be like correct proportions for a snow leopard. Cats have like this huge feet. It's fun when people draw like anatomically accurate like TJ from Echo, because lynxes have such giant feet compared to their body. So it's just like a very different proportion for his hands and feet and everything. Defeated, I slowly walk to my chilled, easy chair and sit, unsure what to do. Without a clear way out of this mess, all I can do is start to daydream. I'd put the jacket on. I wonder if he's still here, enduring the storm like everyone else. My puppy boyfriend, apparently. Who am I kidding? I've been back here for a whole year and there's been no sign of him. My missing puppy boyfriend, who's also not my boyfriend. That I've actively scoured... Not that I've actively scoured the city for him, but... I've just been busy. Work has been so busy. Life just got in the way. I'm jolted out of my thoughts by the doorbell. Startled, fur standing on end a little, I crane my neck, trying to see the visitor through the frost-caked window. When that fails, I finally uncurl myself from the chair and step quietly towards the door. Peeking out the peephole, I can see... nothing, just a white haze. Must be covered in snow. I jump as the knock sounds once again, right next to my head. Hello? Anyone in there? My name's Theodore and I live down the street. Just checking to make sure you're okay. Theodore. Yes, I remember running into him once or twice on my way to work. An Arctic fox, about 10-ish years older than me. I reach out a paw to open the door, then realize I'm still swaddled in blankets. I frantically shed my sheets and scramble around for the coat, cursing as I knock it up to the floor. When I'm finally ready, I cautiously open the door. And the wind hits me like a truck. My fur fluffs up and I curl into my jacket, shivering. I expected my thick snow leopard pelt to keep me safe from the wind, but... and the jacket? Clearly I was wrong. The bundled up Arctic fox stands in the doorway, paw outstretched to knock again. Oh. Oh, hello. Sorry for the surprise visit. Leo, right? I nod dumbly, too cold to give him a proper reply. He looks me up and down, concern plain on his face. I'm checking up with on my neighbors. I understand a lot of people lost power last night, and... He stops mid-sentence and takes a tentative step forward. Do you mind if I come in? Then we can shut the door. You look like you're freezing. I take a guilty look behind me at the state of my living room. It's a little messy, but okay. I step backwards and let him shut the door behind him. Thank you, Leo. Some weather we're having, right? He gives me something between a grimace and a smile, clearly trying to lighten the mood as I shiver next to the door. He looks me up and down again. I nod once more, pulling my coat tighter around myself. I miss my blanket cocoon. How can I help you? Oh, how can I help you? Well, I'm hoping I can be the one to help you. His eyes scan the room, landing on the dead thermostat and the piles of blankets on the floor. I wince internally, thinking about the mess my place is. This place is not a mess. You did not draw a mess if that's what this is supposed to be. It's looking like this whole side of the street lost power. As I understand it, the snowstorm knocked over a tree, which in turn uprooted an electric pole. Oh, my ears droop. That's pretty serious. He locks eyes with mine, then, his voice gentle. Yes, I'm afraid it is. I'm sorry, but looks like most of the neighborhood will be out of power for a few days at least. A few days? Panic starts to bloom in my chest. I was already freezing my ass off, and it was only going to get colder? Theodore seems to notice my alarm, and gently reaches out to place it upon my shoulder. I feel its warmth through my shirt, seemingly the only source of heat in the whole house. Leo, please don't worry. I would be happy to house you until your power comes back on. That's why I'm here. His voice draws me back to the present, and I look up at him. I still have electricity and an extra room for you, with heating, of course. I'm actually housing a few other people as well, neighbors from the side of the street. You're more than welcome to join us for however long you need. The gears start turning in my head. Before this, Theodore and I seldom spoke. Now he's offering to house me? I didn't have any reasons to be skeptical, but... I know this might sound like it's coming out of nowhere, but we haven't had a winter this bad in quite a while. Neighbors should look out for one another in times like these, right? A group of random people? Another person's house? Someone I didn't really know? It is remarkable to think about how antisocial society just is in general. At least here in the United States and so on. Like, I don't really know my neighbors, and most people don't really know their neighbors, and it's like... Particularly in response to like the current situation and how hopeless things are on the federal scale and like not being able to really do anything there. A lot of people are making a point about how much like community building matters and how much people should really be focusing on what's immediately around them and how you can improve your life that way via community. And it is a weirdly alien concept. But in this case, this is like the bare minimum. This is like so... I mean, it's not like I would necessarily expect this level of helpfulness from people by default, but like it's not insane that this person would check in on the street of people who are freezing in their houses. And situations like this, people tend to come together. And I guess this is a quick way to, this is definitely a way to meet your entire roster of characters. This is a unique introduction. I have not seen this in any visual novel yet, which is a nice note because of how many of them actually kind of have the same introduction as each other. And the crowd we've got is pretty friendly, I promise. His tone is warm, inviting, and absolutely genuine. I take one more look at the dead thermostat, and it stares back at me vacantly. Well, it seems to say, what other choice do you have? I take a deep breath and regain my voice. Okay, sure, if you don't mind. I'd love to stay at your place, at least until my power comes back. Theodore beams at me, clearly pleased. Glad to hear it. Why don't you gather some of your stuff to bring over? Let me know if you need a hand. No, I've got it covered. Just give me a second. I walk briskly to my room, heart pounding. I enter my room and grab the luggage I had carefully packed yesterday. Fuck, it's so much colder than here than I realized. Trembling slightly, I take one more quick look around, slipping my dead phone and its charger into the pocket. I knew I was set on leaving this room and this house behind today, but I didn't expect it to happen like this. I exhale shakily, remembering to breathe. If he was going to leave this house, was he thinking he was going to leave for good? How much is packed in this bag? Because a bunch of stuff is in the living room left behind, potentially. I don't know if this was just a trip. I had never been to Theodore's place. To be honest, we barely had spoken before this encounter. You'd said that already. I'm not even sure I know which house it is his. I begin to worry in earnest now, twisting the handle of my luggage between my frozen paws. I wasn't even supposed to be here. I was supposed to be on a flight, going far away. Hey, come on, Leo. Hey, come on, Leo. We don't have time to mope or to panic. I chastise myself lightly, remembering once again how to breathe. How is it so easy to forget? I look down and realize I'm still wearing last night's clothes. I should probably change real quick, especially if I'm going to be meeting new people. Oh god. Just keep moving. That's all you have to do. I take one more deep breath and release the handle of my bag. Just be normal. It's a tough ask. I don't know about that. Theodore looks up from his phone as I return to the living room, glancing at my full luggage. All packed? Anything you need me to carry? No, I think I've got everything I'll need. It's just down the street. I can always come back. Fair enough. Ready to go then? I give the place one final look around. It looks back at me, cold and painfully familiar. Yeah, I think I am. Well, I'd suggest a warmer coat. You'll definitely need some snow boots. Huh? Mind still fuzzy from the weather, I pause and look around, down at my clothes, then back up at Theodore. Look, I've been walking around it an all day. That wind is plain nasty, and the shallowest snowdrifts are thigh-high at least. I know we've both got some serious winter padding, but this snowstorm is something else. Yeah, I'm guessing they weren't planning on leaving for good, because their Switch is just lying there. Why would they leave their Switch here? Of all things to leave behind, it's portable. You probably want it. Oh, of course, snow boots. I shake my head violently to clear my brain fog, but all that does is give me a headache. Right, sorry, let me just... Theodore flashes me a warm smile. Take your time. I putter around the messy room, collecting the thickest coat and sturdiest boots. My paws twitch slightly at how cold they are. It felt like everything in the house froze overnight, including my brain, I guess. I quickly unzip my coat and button over the zipper, then begin struggling with the boots. There we go, that's more like it. I try to give him a smile back. Ready to go. Promise this time. It looks like death outside. I don't know how relevant the thigh-high snowbanks were, because doesn't seem relevant anywhere that I'm seeing, at least. The snow stretches out in front of me, pristine, fresh, and almost paw print free. I take a few steps, disrupting the nearby perfect surface with my heavy, boot-clad paws. Despite Theodore's warning, I gasp slightly as my legs sink in past the knee, cold slush seeping into my jeans. I lift my head slightly, and the snowfall seems to slow for a moment as I take in my surroundings. Look at this goober. Damn, it is thigh-high. What? I'm trying to make sense of what's going on there. The art's good, but I don't know if I can make sense of it. Just that, like, those are paw prints, but you're wearing shoes. The shoes have 3 toes, not 4, but also you're waist deep in it right here. Did you just sink right here in all the previous steps? Were you walking on the surface and you only sank at this depth? Because, like, it's just people would leave paw prints with their bare feet on a tiny amount of snow, obviously, like dirt. But I know what walking in snow looks like. I used to go to be in the snow all the time up in Tahoe and stuff. It would just be like 2 long tracks of your 2 legs dragging through the snow. But anyway, we're nitpicking things. I'm just saying the abrupt transition from 6 footsteps to thigh deep is visually confusing. In that lingering moment, the world seems so quiet. dampened by the hush of winter. Fat flakes dance around me on their way to the ground, piling higher and higher around my submerged boots. Fat is a funny descriptor of snowflakes. Let's check out that fat. All right, and check out those thick flakes. I resist the urge to stick my tongue out, like I did as a kid, as I watched them descend. Because I wouldn't want to open my mouth in this, with how cold it apparently is. I truly can't remember the last time the city had been this silent. The snowflakes start to accumulate on my snout, on my shoulders, on the sides of my coat, wherever they can find purchase. My snout starts to sting, yet my other senses feel so muffled. It looks like a suburban neighborhood, and suburban neighborhoods are usually almost silent until cars pass by, whereas the blizzard, the active wind we apparently have, would be noisy actually, so I don't know. For a single precious second, the world seems to stop turning. All is silent, calm, and still. And then the wind picks up again, and the sweet, beautiful snowfall starts to blow directly into my face and eyes. I hiss in pain and hike up the hood of my coat. The howling gusts tear at the fabric, trying to rip it off and ruffle unchallenged through my fur. It's like nature itself is reminding me of its preeminence, I think. I'm not used to that word at all, to be honest. I feel the weight of my cold phone in my pocket, a victim of the wrath of the storm. I think of the plane I was supposed to board, grounded by the weather, buried like the cars on the street. I feel hopeless, too, taking it all in, a speck in the endless white ocean, whose tide could so easily sweep me away. I would be powerless to fight back. Then, a steady paw on my shoulder pulls me out of my thoughts. Hey, you alright? Are you having whimsy? Is that what's happening? He's nearly shouting over the sound of the wind. I turn to face him, blinking and shaking the snow off my face. The gusts wane slightly, and I manage to get a few words out. Yeah, I'm just adjusting. I mean, I was born and raised here, but I don't ever remember seeing snow like this. Theodore nods. As far as I can remember, this is the worst it's ever been. I believe it. The cold starts to pierce through my layers, and I can feel a creeping wetness spreading underneath my socks. Your socks? You have terrible boots. Or you didn't tie them at all. Theodore seems to be surveying the area as well, but I get the feeling he isn't. Did you not put your jeans over your socks to stop the snow from going in over the... Not your socks. Did you not put your jeans over the top of your boots so that the snow doesn't go directly into the rim of your boots? Theodore seems to be surveying the area as well, but I get the feeling he isn't just taking in the scenery. It'll be days, I think, before they can get the plows through here. It's obviously still piling up, so... I can hear the worry creeping into his voice as he looks up and down the street. I look past him to my car, parked in the driveway, or at least what I think is my car. Only a vague shape is visible beneath the snow. But that's for future us to worry about. He imbues his voice with some forced cheer and starts wading through what I assume is the sidewalk. For now, let's just get someplace warm. I'm freezing my tail off out here. He leads the way and I follow closely behind him. Well, we walk slowly, with a wide, loping gait, footpaws testing for shallow spots, doing our best not to topple over. After only a few steps, I start following Theodore's trail exactly, tired of wading through the thigh-high drifts. We walk quietly, both of us devoting most of our attention to staying upright. I wasn't really in a conversational mood anyway. For some reason, it felt wrong to talk too much out here. Winter was speaking. We could choose not to listen, but we shouldn't interrupt. After a minute or so, Theodore turns back to me and points towards a nearby house. This one's mine. I blink in surprise. It's huge. That guy has an outdoor fan. An outdoor ceiling fan. I don't think I've ever seen that in person. That's wild. Just for moving the air around beneath your overhang. It must get, maybe it gets really hot during the summer here or something? I blink in surprise. It's huge. For some reason, I hadn't expected him to own the biggest house in the block. We walk up the partially shoveled porch steps and he fishes a key ring from his coat pocket. I'll need to give this another shovel tomorrow. People be coming and going. He turns the key and opens the door. We both hustle in and hurriedly shut it behind us, eager to escape the chill. This place is huge. They have a fire pit for hanging out. And a drawing of a feral fox. So I guess those exist at the same time in this setting. It's always back and forth. I wonder if these are based on like photos of specific locations. Is like how they get that or not? So rare to see a place this open. It's a boob light. I know boob lights. It's funny how often there's just boob lights in the back there. The warmth in the living room is heavenly, courtesy of a robust heating system and merrily crackling fireplace. I could feel my muscles finally begin to relax in response to the welcoming heat. I don't think I realized how cold I had been until this moment. You definitely knew how cold you were. You've been thinking about it so much. You can't not realize how cold you are this many times in a row. At some point you know how cold you are. We're back. Theodore calls out as we enter the house, but I don't hear a response. They must be busy. Oh well, you can meet them later. He sheds his coat and holds out his paw to take mine. As I struggle to remove my snow-filled boots, I can't help but ask. How many others are here? A smile returns to Theodore's face. He seems to have no shortage of those. Counting you, I'm expecting 5 guests in total. He brushes the clinging clumps of snow off our 2 coats and hangs them neatly in a nearby rack. Some of them are still gathering their things. Not too many then. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I don't know if I could have handled something like a group of 10. Please, sit down. And we can't afford that many sprites, are you kidding me? He gestures to a couch in front of the fire, and I readily fall into one of the seats. I resist the tempting urge to immediately curl up in the warm cushions. Theodore looks me over again and continues. Anything to drink? How about some warm tea? I prepared the leaves myself. I suddenly notice how wet my pant legs are and guiltily shift them off the couch. I think I'm good. No, you should drink something warm. You're like, I can't believe how cold I am. Drink a warm thing. It's how you warm up, is you put warmth inside of your body and then it goes through your body. That's how please. I'm begging you. You also probably need to take a shower because you didn't take one, assuming you're a morning shower or because your power's out. Other ways of warming up. To be honest, I feel kind of bad intruding in the first place, so... Well, I hate to break it to you, Leo, you're gonna have to eat and drink while you're here, or you will literally cease living. I mean, you might be able to live that long without... Theodore raises an eyebrow. Now I'm gonna stop you right there. As long as you're staying here, what's mine is yours. I promise you, there's no reason at all for you to feel bad or guilty. It's not as if the power outages are your fault. And speaking of... I felt how cold it was in your house. You must be freezing. Please let me bring you a warm mug of tea. Unless you're like allergic to it or something. Then hot water would do, I guess. Can you be allergic to tea? I just assume you can be allergic to basically anything, but I have no idea. Alright, you got me. Some hot tea sounds wonderful right now. Excellent, I'll be back in just a second. He turns and begins to walk through to the kitchen. Theodore? He stops in the doorway and turns. Huh? Thank you. For all of this. It's my pleasure, and please, call me Theo. As Theo walks off to the kitchen, I remember the dead phone weighing down my pocket, and begin to scan the room for an outlet. The living room's pretty well kept, much neater and more welcoming than my place, when I still lived there. Do I still live there? I wonder where I'll be after the storm settles down. I find a suitable spot near the couch and start charging my phone. Wonder if I'll have any messages. Or if it will just be updates on my canceled flight. It's so frustrating. How do you get updates on a canceled flight? What does that mean? Updates on your canceled flight. If they didn't cancel the flight, you might be dead right now. You'd be a snepsicle. You got saved by the fact that you got all your blankets out in response to the canceled flight. You could have been dead. Also, get a better phone. Your phone loses charge so fast. I think my phone literally will be like, yeah, with the current charge will last about 2 days. So good on you. And I have to like actively play video games on it or something to like drain it faster than a couple days. And you hopefully plugged it in because it was probably going to be your alarm for the morning and just a thing you need to probably for your boarding pass and stuff like that. So you hopefully had it plugged in at night until the power went out. I feel like it shouldn't be out of power, but you know, smartphones are like an obstacle in narrative in general, so it's often good to just get rid of them and find a way. Just automated text sent by a computer. Then I hear paw steps as Theo returns to my living room. 2 steaming mugs in paw. Isn't this your home? Shouldn't someone be worried about you? You should be expecting someone to be worried about you, unless you really have an awful living situation here. But if you returned here to keep a promise to people that you cared about, you would think there'd be people that you care about here that would check in on you. And it's not just your depressing job or whatever. Here, it's my favorite brew. White tea with chicory root, hibiscus, coriander, and some other flavors. I think you'll like it. This might just be how he thinks about himself, though. It just thinks that nobody cares about him. He holds a mug towards me as he sits, and I reach out to grab it with both paws, hungry for its warmth. Thank you. I lower my head and give the tea a sniff. It smells like tea. I guess I don't really know anything about tea. At all? Tea smells like things. I like to do lemon ginger, and that smells extremely different from, like, just black tea or whatever. Is it herbal tea, green tea, black tea? Those are different. As I lean in for a sip, Theo slips his phone out of his pocket. And those things, it tastes floral with the hints of citrus. It's pretty good, actually. That's not what tea normally smells like. You're getting an herbal tea with yeah, so that list, the stuff that you listed earlier. That's very different. I start to give a compliment, but Theo speaks first. In fact, I think to some extent, the flavor of tea is a lie. I know I'm on a pointless tear here, but I think that tea flavoring is kind of a lie. I don't think tea actually tastes like that much of anything. I think that tea is 90% the part where it smells like something. Like, I know that smell is always an important part of taste, and they're like involved with each other as a general thing, but tea is extremely fragrant, and you put this warm tea under your nose when you go to drink it, and I think that's like most of the reason why it supposedly tastes like things, is that it just strongly smells like things, and that's like, and like that's nice. I like that. It's also, I think, why sweet tea and like bottled tea that's served as a product generally is like packed with a fuck ton of sugar, because they got to use all that sugar to give it any kind of flavor, because I don't think it actually tastes like that much when it doesn't smell. And cold tea, especially cold tea that is inside of a bottle that's closed, like in that when you put your mouth on it, it forms a seal, and there's no like nice mug that you're raising to your nose as you drink it. I think that gets rid of the smell element. That's a large part of why tea is so appealing the way it is. Which is different from coffee, because coffee definitely tastes like something. Coffee is so fucking bitter. There is my TED Talk. Do you know the raptor in number 42? I've been trying to get him to join us here, but he hasn't responded to my texts. Didn't answer the door when I knocked either. Not really. I mean, I don't have his number or anything. I trail off lamely, hiding my snout in my mug. I'm worried about the animal biology here. If the raptor might be dead. Assuming it's a raptor as in a lizard and not a raptor as in a bird, which are both called raptors. If it's a dinosaur type thingy, well, they were birds, but weren't dinosaurs cold-blooded like lizards, despite being more like a birdie than lizardy? If he's cold-blooded, he might be dead, which is upsetting. But like, You got a cold snap and the power outage, and they don't, it might be somebody who doesn't regulate, so hopefully they're not cold-blooded. It'd be a dark tone to take. I trail off lamely, hiding my snout in my mug. A few seconds of silence pass as Theo continues typing. I'm texting a friend of his, Artemis. He's the bird in number 60? The two of them are pretty close. He'll also be staying with us. I nod, trying to sip my tea as quietly as possible. I feel pretty bad to admit that I don't know my neighbors at all, especially when Theo has gone out of his way to be so kind to me. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't really know my neighbors, but it's probably a happier life if you know the people on your street and you can at least know who's dependable and friendly and who you might value having in your life, as opposed to the people who you probably don't. My street has a weird amount of American flags, and that makes me nervous. I don't know if other people in this country, people in other countries know this, but like, people in America are weirdly prone to flying our country's flag for no reason all over the place, and even like that's not a thing that almost anybody else does. It's really weird. I've polled Twitter before to ask people internationally, and people in Europe and so on are like, no, that's a ball game type of thing. You like maybe put out flags like, yeah, sports, and then you put them back in because that's weird. But no, year-round American flags. I walked outside once and I counted like 12 on my street from the line of sight of my driveway, which is too many. And the people that are prone to flying American flags all the time are self-described patriots of the right-leaning variety, and we're the one pride flag on the street. And I don't love that dichotomy, so that's maybe formed some of my life and my choices. You know, I think I'll just head over there again. This cold isn't good for scaly folk. Uh-oh. That confirms my suspicions. Now I want to make sure he's alright. Sounds good. Do you want me to tag along? Theo takes one look at me, tail wrapped around my soaking wet pant legs, clutching my mug to my chest. No, you still need to warm up. Just stay put, and I'll be back soon. Also, change your fucking pants. Be a proactive visual novel protagonist, I'm begging you. Your pants are frozen. They're wet and below freezing temperatures. They're like, they're dangerous. Go into the, you have a bag that you packed with clothes, grab some other pants and put them on. And if you're feeling nervous, walk over to the bathroom and put them on. Like, you're at a fire pit, you got hot tea, you're in wet, freezing clothes. This is, one of these things is really offsetting the others. I nod, immensely grateful. I was in no rush to charge back into the storm. Theo gets up and walks to the door, slipping on his coat again. Stay safe. And, I like the tea. What a comment. I hold up my mug and give him a smile. I realize part of my confusion here is that the first person you meet in this game is named Theo. And the default name of this game is Leo. Which is a confusing pair of names a little bit to immediately stack on each other. Feel free to pour yourself another cup. I'll be back before you know it. The door swings shut and I'm left alone with my tea and my thoughts. Maybe some of the thoughts should be about your pants. After a few more sips, I feel the comfortable heat start to seep into my core, slowly spreading throughout my body, except my legs, which are covered in frozen denim. I put my still frozen foot paws up on the couch and peel off my wet socks, tucking them into the side pocket of my bag. He's doing something. No. No. Don't stop at the socks. You've described your pants as being frozen. It's not like you're going to be indecent. No one's here. You have a bag of clothes right there. As the minutes pass, I start subconsciously prepping for company, my eyes fixed on the front door, waiting for it to open. In fact, you should have also put on new, not wet socks to help you keep warm and maintain heat. I can do this. I can be normal. So far, you're really struggling. They'll come in through the front door any moment now. Then I heard the door shut somewhere else in the house. I nearly jump off the couch, startled, before remembering that the other house guests. I just hadn't expected them to be here already. I take a deep breath, all my puffed up tail swishing back and forth. He said there was people here. He's been doing this all morning. Oh, why am I so jumpy? cat problems. I hear the gentle tap of paws coming down the flight of stairs, sound getting louder. I sit up and prepare to meet whoever's coming, tucking my tail behind me to hide my nerves. Theo? I just got a text from Artemis saying... Then the mystery guest comes into view. He doesn't sound like that. It's the puppy! It's the person that's maybe an ex or an old friend or something that you never found in town. You never found them in town? They live on your street. You are bad at this. You never found the person who lives on your street that you've been hoping to find and dreaming about this whole time? How long have you been back? I forget. He stops mid-sentence, making eye contact with me and gasps loudly, an audible mix of shock and wonder. It's a really fucking cute drawing, though. Leo? My heart beats even faster. Those ear and fur patterns are unmistakable. It can't be. It had to be. Rofi? Rofi? I don't know. My heart drops. I feel time slow down around me, a thing that you are prone to experiencing, apparently. The dog freezes, another thing they're prone to experiencing, eyes wide. He's clearly surprised, but I can't fully read his expression. Does he have some sort of grudge against me? Honestly, I didn't understand if he did, given our history. We used to be best friends. Little memories flit across my mind. The vibrant colors of the tree and the town square, Rofi, the tree, and I all changing with the seasons. Theory craft here based on basically nothing. I'm gonna guess that he's your old best friend, and because these are disproportionately gay stories, I'm guessing that you're gay, and you tried to ask him out, and he rejected you because he didn't think it was gay. But then over the course of the story, he's gonna find out that he's either realized that since then that he is, or he's reconciled with that, or some other thing, and then love interest. This is no information to go on. It's purely based on we used to be friends and the distance and the longing and stuff. The vibrant colors, the blah blah blah. The smell of the playground grass during recess, freshly mown. The long nights we would spend talking, and the quickening beat of my heart when we would play fight. Uh-huh. Especially when those fights turned into sleepy cuddles. The last chocolate bar we shared before I left. Dark chocolate, bitter, with hardly any sweet. It's been over a decade since I last saw Rofi. Since my parents decided to uproot our lives and move across the country. Oh, maybe they were closer and more specific about that, and they just specifically got separated by the move, I guess. I only broke the news to Rofi a few days ago before the movers made their final trip to our place, grabbing the last of our things. I just couldn't find a way to tell him without breaking his heart. Or mine. That's brutal. Yeah, that's a bad idea. You should definitely let people have the chance to come to terms with this stuff and spend time with each other and say goodbye and everything, instead of just keeping information from people because it's easier. Leaving felt wrong. It felt horrible. At the time, it felt like I would never recover, and neither would he. After that terrible conversation, we spent our last few days trying to pretend nothing was wrong. We just couldn't bring ourselves to talk about it anymore. And then, just like that, I left. He couldn't even see me off. We chatted back and forth a few times, long distance. Our talks grew less and less frequent, until they stopped completely. He just wasn't a friend I could keep over the phone. Years passed and I forgot. Perhaps I made myself forget. That's always what I've done with painful memories. A single question settles like a lump in my throat. A childish question. A question a kid asks when they know they've done something wrong. Are you mad at me? I open my mouth to ask it, but... Leo, is that really you? It is really you. The bright orange dog breaks into a sprint across the room, arms outstretched. I barely have time to react before he tackles me in a soft, fluffy hug. Then we both fall back onto the couch, his momentum carrying us a bit too far. I lay there for a second, dazed. Then I feel him jump up from the couch. Sorry, it's been so long. You really are Leo, right? I didn't just hug some stranger? He really hasn't changed at all. He takes a seat next to me, eyes wide, but filled with energy. What a way to contrast the two of them in personality. All this built up emotion and stress, and the other person's like, oh my god! Tails miles per hour energy. Still reeling from this football tackle, I find enough air in my lungs to respond. Yeah, it's me, Leo. Wow, it really has been a while. What, like 10, 12 years? He says this incredulously, counting on his paws. I checked to see if he had 10 fingers or not, because I was like, this is gonna make the counting weird if he has like 8. It's like they wouldn't have a system of counting by paws or they'd have to have a. Oh, that's the weird world building thing about, is that if you have a universe where everyone has 4 fingers on each hand, like a lot of furries draw, then you would expect them to have a base 8 numbering system instead of a base 10. Oh goodness. The guilt rises once again to the surface. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Hey, Leo, you okay? I blink a few times, unball my stiff paws, and force myself to meet his eyes. Yeah, sorry, it's been a while, you know? I trail off, watching his face closely for a hint of sadness, a twinge of anger, anything really. But his expression doesn't really change. To an unknowing observer, it would seem we were only apart for a weekend. It has been. It's nice to see you again, really. The genuine warmth in his voice comforts me a little. Maybe he really isn't mad. I feel the same way, really. Amidst all the craziness, it's nice to see a familiar face. Knowing that we'd have to reach this topic at some point, I decided to take the leap. Phone started playing a YouTube video all of a sudden. So, speaking of, what are you doing here? I wince a little, not the smoothest segue. But he takes the question and runs with it, like the master conversationalist I remember. You'd never believe it. His voice practically drips with sarcasm. But I stayed here for all of high school and then for college, at the suggestion of my parents. Oh god, Rofi's parents. Are they still the same? He rolls his eyes and nods. Yes. Yes, they are. So you're still under the thumb? I mean, I don't know if you are, if you've been living here the whole time. Rofi puffs out his chest proudly. Actually, I moved out, so not as much, I guess. My eyes widen. His parents were the extremely overbearing type. They loved keeping him in the house and would always give him shit for just asking to hang out with me on weekends. This is a weird series of reactions because the premise of the conversation was that he's been living here for years. So like, it's odd that he had to reaffirm the fact that he had to reaffirm the fact that he moved out. Like he'd explain it again. And they were okay with that? You moving out? Well, he said that they told him to. They made him move here. Well, sort of. That didn't sound too convincing. There's no way they would just let him move out. Not if they were all the same people that they were a decade ago. They, kinda made it happen themselves, really. Remember when I told you they had me move here? Before the second time I said it and you reacted to that one? I noticed his tone drop slightly. I opened my mouth and closed it again, burning with curiosity, but not wanting to pry. I decided to drop it for now and let the room go quiet. Anyway, enough about that. It takes him only a moment or two to perk up. He's always had the ability to lighten a conversation, and I was always jealous of that. I'm still jealous of it. What are you doing back at this time of year? Missed me so much you traveled through a snowstorm to see me? I resist the urge to flinch. Best just tell him the truth now. It will come out eventually, anyway. Actually, I've been back nearly a year. A year? Why haven't I seen you at all, then? I fold a little into myself and drop my gaze, though I can tell he's surprised, not upset. Yeah, this is the worst part of the part. You didn't just reach out to your friend when he came back to town? Thank God. Not sure I could handle an upset Rofi right now. Or ever, really. Well, you know, we just kind of lost touch after a while, and I figured we were both busy with school and work and all that, so that's stupid. That's excuses that aren't even... I can't even call them self-serving, it's just avoidant unnecessarily because of you have social anxiety or something, which I get, but also, no. Oh, God, we're probably both busy with work. We don't have time for basic friendship or enjoying life in each other. I wasn't trying to get in touch with you anyway. My excuses were feeble at best, but Rofi remained just as chipper as ever. But you thought about me, at least. Feel that's a relief. Glad I wasn't just a poor, forgotten soul. Imagine little old me being lost forever in the depths of your mind. He draws out his last words dramatically, then sticks his tongue out at me. He delivers his quips with the same energy I remember from childhood. But with all that's happened, they would take some getting used to again. Now that I've verbalized it, I guess I did think about him from time to time. I know. I definitely know that. Honestly, more than that. Hell, I was thinking about him this morning. How could I not, given how close we'd been? I think I was putting off our meeting because I had expected it to be painful. I had expected anger or tears but we really seemed to be picking up where we left off. Well, I'm surprised I haven't seen you around then. I always go on afternoon walks, and I feel like I know almost everyone who lives here. Well, I don't get out that often. Oh, I bet. Let me guess, a grocery haul once a month? Hey, come on. It hurts because it's true. I try to mumble something witty in response, but it falls flat. That means you're eating unhealthily. Once a month is not a good grocery haul. That's me back when I used to live out of frozen stuff I bought at Sam's Club that you'd microwave, and not like somebody who actually ever cooks, because if you're cooking at all, basically everything you could be buying isn't going to last a month, even in the fridge. It hurts because it's true. I try to mumble something witty in response, but it falls flat. I'm right, aren't I? I still don't understand why you choose to stay in when your parents always let you go out whenever. This paradox, the person who had freedom and didn't want it, and the person who couldn't get out and is, as a response to that, is outgoing. Well, it becomes a lot less special when you can do it anytime, you know? Sure, but having that freedom beats being trapped in the house every weekend of your childhood. He was right. When we were kids, he spent pretty much every weekend stuck upstairs in his room. Every Saturday, I would always try to sneak him a treat through his window. I would buy 2 of some new candy that the mall was carrying, and would walkie-talkie each other from across the street, critiquing our little snacks like we were on TV. He got really good at catching candy from his second floor window. That was our Saturday night ritual. He'd always eat dinner extra fast so they'd have more time to enjoy his secret dessert with me. But now, it seems like we've completely switched our house-leaving habits. How ironic. Simpler times, huh? I don't miss them as much as you. You were probably the only thing that made it bearable back then. I could feel my face warming up. I hadn't expected such a compliment. Haha, you're blushing. I can't believe I can see through your fur. He reaches out playfully to poke at my cheek, but I bat his paw away, more amused than annoyed. He sticks his tongue out at me again, then swishes his tail slowly. So, what did you get up to once you left? He always did have a talent for tonal whiplash. Guess that hasn't changed either. Well, nothing much. Moved to a new city, went to a new high school with new people, That wasn't a whiplash, honestly. That's just a logical progression of the conversation. You were gone all this time. So about the time you were gone, I bet you were super popular. Everyone here loved you. One look at his face told me that he wasn't being sarcastic. Are you kidding? You were always the popular one. It wasn't a contest. And I promise we all missed you lots after you moved. I don't believe you, but anyway. My new school was really different. Way, way bigger. Even the teachers were overwhelmed by the size of our class. I mean, I guess I made a few friends, but I never really connected with anyone there. To be honest, I was just counting down the days till I could move away to college. Back then, I just wanted to be somewhere else. And has that changed? I pushed the thought away. And was it better? College, I mean. Yeah, it was. This is gonna sound cheesy, but it helped me find myself a bit, you know? Rofi's ears perk up and his smile widens. Did you not know yet why your heart would pick up whenever you wrestled with Rofi? So, Leo, tell me, who are you? What could you possibly mean by finding yourself in college? He mimes a microphone and holds it up to my face. Well... The truth was that I realized I was queer. Alright, well, I'm on the right page there. It's not like I really tried to keep it a secret anymore, but something about telling Rofi was giving me pause. Maybe the rush of old feelings and old fears. I clear my throat. Well, I figured out that I'm... We both jump as something slams in the front door. Into the front door. What was that? Rofi leaps off the couch and speeds over to the door, leaning in to peer through the peephole. Oh, it's just Theo and Artemis, and his friend. The door swings open to reveal Theo, or more accurately Theo's arms, holding two huge boxes. Rofi and I back away from the door, letting him stumble into the house. He sets down the boxes near the coat rack, clearly out of breath. What is all this? As Theo catches his breath, I hear a soft, timid squeak. A scaly, crested head pops into view behind Theo's hunched form. That's a raptor. That's a whole-ass raptor, with a whole tag fringe, but with glasses. Sorry, that's my stuff. I can't give everyone the same fucking sound voice. Sorry, that's my stuff. I wasn't sure if bringing all this was okay, but everyone insisted I figured I would want my monitor set up here if I was gonna be here for a while, and I really didn't want to be a nuisance, and he brought his whole PC. The flustered dino gets cut off by another voice, silky and smooth. Hey, relax. We already said it was alright for you to bring your things. It's Artemis. I'm gonna grab Hunter and help us with these two. There's no way I'm carrying them upstairs without him. As Theo steps in and starts removing his coat, the source of the velvety voice comes into view. A bird. Some kind of blue jay was my guess, but he looked like he just came from some crazy music concert, and with only a light coat draped over his shoulders. How was he not cold in that? Both the dino and the bird are holding boxes. The dino is mostly taken up by a massive computer monitor, and the bird's filled with miscellaneous items. Oh, before I forget, Leo, Rofi, this is Oliver. Theo gestures to the dino, who gives me a nervous grin. Theo then indicates the bird. And this is Artemis. The bird nods at me once more, adjusting the box in his talons. Rofi, I think you and Artemis know each other already? Rofi gives Artemis a grin and a wave, and the bird responds with the slightest hint of a smile. They'll be staying with us as we wait out the storm. It's nice to meet you both. Theo then excuses himself to grab the mysterious Hunter, who I still have yet to meet. I think that's going to be where we cut things off for today. That's our usual 1 hour introduction, and we're at the transition from the tension of what's definitely the love interest character, or at least the obvious one, that our character has a lot of unresolved feelings to approach. And yeah, they're afraid to tell this person that they're gay, because specifically, that's the person that they have feelings they haven't resolved about, and if they bring up that they're gay, it opens the door to them understanding that about themselves. And well, we have a precedent of keeping information from Rofi that is convenient to us, apparently. But yeah, we're in the transition from that to introducing new characters, and that's going to be a whole ass scene in its own right, I'm sure. So it's probably the right place to cut things off here. And if you would like to see what happens next and what else is in this game, you can check out it via the link in the description. So thanks for watching like always, guys, and I will see you next time.